Transfer news, starting off with the news about Alfie Dorrington. And Dorrington is set to join SPL side Aberdeen on loan for the rest of the season. And on top of that, he has signed a long-term extension with the club before finalising the loan. And apparently he's already got a shirt number at Aberdeen, which is going to be Deadly King's very own 26.
Lovely. That's great for him. I didn't know he signed a contract on top of that as well. So that's really good news. Hopefully for the future, there's something to build on. Obviously, he needs the game time. Ange said it before he was asked about Alfie in his press conference. He said, look, he's not had a lot of game time and he needs to be playing regularly. He had a serious injury last season, so he's going to look for a loan. They are very open about that. So look, maybe that was already clearly in the works before he even spoke. So really good for him. And Aberdeen were doing really well earlier in the season.
They were, yeah.
Now they're not so much, so hopefully he can get them back on track, and it'll be just good for him to be. I know it's SPL, so the level's not so great, but I think just regularly playing them for a decent team at Aberdeen. Are they in Europe as well?
Are they in Europe? I'm not sure about Aberdeen being in Europe.
Aberdeen in Europe? If they are, that'll even be even more fantastic if he can get some European experience.
The reality is, though, with Aberdeen, right? No, they're not in Europe. But the reality is with Aberdeen,
they
right,
were in a title race at one point.
Yeah, I mean, very early on the season. I mean, the reality is with Aberdeen, it's a much higher level than he's ever played at before. So that's a big positive.
Yeah, so the regular game time should help him. So let's see how he gets on. And I know a lot of people are saying, with so long centre-backs, how can we be sending him on loan? But the reality is Davis is back soon, Romero's back soon, Van der Ven's back soon. So I can understand the need for a centre-back, but I don't understand the need to keep Alfie specifically.
Yeah. Look, apparently Davis is back. Apparently he's back in training yesterday or today, whenever the training session is. And we did hear over the past couple of weeks that he was always set to be back for the North London derby. So with Ben Davis being back, do you put him straight back in?
Great question. I'm not sure because Gray's playing so well. Do you take him out? Do you take Dragoshin out, put Gray right centre-back, and maybe, do you need Dragoshin's aerial ability for the corners?
Let's see if Dragoshin's fit, but...
So it's a difficult one to call, to be honest. But I feel like probably our best shot is probably putting Davis back in. But then again, he was very close to coming back last time and re-injured himself. So do you want to rush him back, And that caused us problems. So I don't know if we did an update on it, but it looks like we got got a head of medical advertised and all these different jobs. Yeah. So clearly they're not happy with a lot of the things in the medical
should have happened a long time ago, mate. Should have happened a very long time ago.
I think apparently Ange did make some changes in the medical department when he took over.
Oh, did he?
That's what I read. So maybe he made some bad choices. I don't know about him, but there was medical changes come in when Ange came in. I don't know if Ange himself was the one who did the changes, but clearly we haven't been doing things right.
If he's completely ready to play Ben Davis, I would want to see probably... It's harsh, but I probably want to see him and Radu if they're both fit, because I feel like that both of those are most adept to dealing with the set pieces that Arsenal are going to throw at us.
Cooper, Gray midfield.
Yeah, potentially. It depends, because you got basically it's between him, Basuma, and Bergvall for the 6.
Yeah, you can't put two 18-year-olds there surely in midfield. Surely, mate.
Imagine we go and win there with two 18-year-olds in midfield.
That would be crazy.
Next up, Miguel Delaney says that Tottenham are interested in a loan for Marcus Rashford and have investigated on whether a deal may be possible. However, he is currently seen as most likely to go abroad. He has been rumoured to be speaking to the camps of AC Milan and Borussia Dortmund over the past couple of days. So maybe those two moves are more likely. But do you think Spurs have any sort of likelihood of getting Rashford in on the loan do?
I think Tottenham would be interested. I don't think Man United would be interested in giving us a cut price deal for him. And that's the only way we would get a Rashford over the line is if they pay a high portion of the wages. In basically a Chelsea and Arsenal deal for Sterling-esque deal. That's the only way we would be interested, I think. And I don't think Man United, unless they're really desperate and no one's willing to take him, and that would probably be one literally deadline day if no one else in Europe is taking him, kind of thing.
Where Rashford's head's at as well. If he really doesn't want to go outside of England, which we don't know at this moment in time. If he really doesn't want to go outside England, it's not like they could force him.
But that's one that I think I'm going to give it every opportunity to sort out. So I think it would be a deadline day one if there was to ever happen. So I don't see it happening right now. I can definitely see Tottenham thinking a loan deal, a 6-month loan deal until the end of the season for a winger who could potentially fit the system in terms of what he can offer on the ball anyway. I'm not so sure off the ball, but on the ball, fast, good finisher. Could fill in on the left, could maybe fill in up front on occasion as well. considering that we need help in the forward line, I think you could do a lot worse than Marcus Rashford on a 6-month loan. I don't see us committing to a long-term transfer. I definitely think it would be like, let's see how he does for 6 months, and if he's killing it and something we can really work with, then maybe we explore a more permanent thing. But I think right now, considering he's had injury problems, considering his attitude issues, I don't think it's one we consider for a obligation to buy or anything like that, and his wages as well on top of that. I just think there's too much working against this move for it to ever happen. But all I'm saying is, on deadline day, if nothing's happened abroad and he's desperate to get out in Man United, and they're saying, look, you know what, we'll pay 60% of his wages and we're willing to just get rid of him, I think Tottenham would put their ears up on that situation.
Yeah, I don't think a permanent deal could ever be done with Marcus Rashford and Spurs. I think only a loan move with Man United eating up a hefty amount of those wages, that's the only way that's a possibility. Even if he comes here and does really well for 6 months, I just can't see it turning into a permanent after that because of the wages he's going to command. I mean, he's on 325 grand a week.
Correct, but I think if Man United, similar to what we did with Adebayor, I remember when Adebayor came to Tottenham, even when it was permanent, City was still paying part of his wages, so it would have to be that kind of deal. Yeah. But the reality is, right now we're in direct competition with Man United, we're a direct rival. So do they want to help us that much? I can't see them doing it. But then again, Chelsea did that with Arsenal, albeit you could argue whether they see themselves as direct rivals, but Chelsea did pretty much just give Arsenal a great deal because they were so desperate. So maybe if Man United, want to comply with FFP and they want to get players through the door, they might have to just get rid of him and do that deal. So depends how desperate they are, I guess. Yeah.
Next up, let's talk about Randall Colo Muani. Here's the name on everyone's lips at the moment. A few different people talking about it. David Ornstein says that Tottenham are currently the club most interested in signing Muani. The player is their top target for the versatile forward, and they wish to sign him this month. Fabrice Hawkins says that Muani has not yet decided to prioritise a move to any particular club, contrary to reports. It's true that Juventus manager Thiago Motta especially are interested, but other clubs such as Tottenham are also in the race. La Stampa says that Juventus are in pole position to sign Muani. Talks with PSG are expected on Monday, which is obviously today, with a loan and purchase option of at least 60 million euros most likely. The striker seems to prefer Juve over other options. And Damasio says that Juventus are convinced that they are in pole position to sign Randall Colo Muani. Juventus doing everything to find an agreement with PSG for Muani and beat the competition for his signature. So it seems as like reports from inside Italy are all claiming that Juventus are very much in pole position and Muani wants to join there. Reports coming from inside England just seem to be like it's anyone's game at the moment.
So I guess it depends who you believe. Obviously, maybe they're ahead of the game in Italy. It might be the case. When it comes to Muani himself, obviously Juve are a massive club and it's hard to turn them down when a club like that comes looking for you. But I know it's a weird one with Motta at the moment. They're unbeaten, but they've drawn so many games.
12 draws.
And it works. I think a lot of them have been 0-0s, and Vlahovic has done well, but they have struggled sometimes to score goals. Does he want to enter an environment like that where it's not so geared to attacking, whereas he comes to Tottenham and he's...
I thought Thiago Motta's an attacking manager, though.
He was at Bologna, but it seems at Juventus it just hasn't quite been like that. He's been quite a few 0-0s since he's been there. So, I don't know, like... If I'm Muani, look, Juve is obviously a big club, so if they come calling for you, maybe he sees like it's too hard to turn them down. But when you look at Tottenham, I know we're 12th at the moment, not doing very well, but obviously we're still in like the Europa League and these competitions. He's got a good chance. They actually did win it. He might have won the Europa League already with Glasner, but I think we're coming to a really attacking system and it will suit him and he'll get chances and it's like a system geared towards the attackers, whereas at Juventus maybe it's not. So it's quite a decision to make. Maybe Juve can pay higher wages, but I would think it might be similar to what we can pay anyway. So
the pull of playing Champions League football might be the draw, though.
It might be that. I wouldn't say it's a foregone conclusion once Juve are in that we have no stake in the game, but obviously Juve have that bit of pull which we're still lacking.
Whether he decides whether it's Juve or Tottenham is not going to make a difference on the wages because he's going to get the same wages regardless.
Yeah, I think we could offer pretty similar wages.
It doesn't matter though in terms of what Muani prefers because it's only going to be a loan move, right? So the wages are going to be paid by Juventus regardless,
yeah,
by PSG
point.
regardless.
That's a fair point, unless there's obviously a permanent move. But yeah.
So, yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see. Is he more guaranteed more playing time at Juventus over Tottenham? Is the Champions League thing a bigger pull? Is that where his head's at the moment? Look, it's going to be interesting to see how this one progresses. But, yeah, apparently it seems as though it's anyone's game at the moment. And last but not least, reports in Italy from Corriere del Mezzogiorno says that Antonio Conte wants Dejan Kulusevski to replace Kavica Kvaratskhelia at Napoli. Well, you can dream on, Mr. Antonio Conte. There's no chance this deal happens unless you bid pretty much north of 100 million.
Yeah, no chance for selling Deki, and I don't think he'd want to go to Napoli, to be honest. As much as Napoli are top of the league and challenging, I think he enjoys playing under Ange. I also think if he goes to Napoli, he becomes a right winger again. And I think he enjoys playing more in the centre like he is at the moment, albeit he's playing a bit of time out the wing at the moment due to injuries and maybe lack of options. But obviously, I don't think Conte signs him to play midfield. He probably signs him to, as you say, could replace Kavica as a winger. And also, doesn't mean
it's a different style of winger than it is at Tottenham.
True, and he did very well under Conte. But Kavica played on the left, and Deki's more, if he's going to play on the wing, it's more on the right. So, I don't know. I don't see that happening.
No, never. But those are the reports at the moment. That is your Tottenham update. Let us know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all of those news stories. And let's finish off the stream.
Quickly,